Hey everybody, welcome to MD Power Hour, starring Giles Tiger Thomas and me, your online editor, Ron Harris. This week, we're here to talk about the Romania Muscle Fest. It is 1 week after the Mr. Olympia, and we have some of the Olympians heading over to Romania for this. It's going to be a great show. Giles, you've been to this show how many times now?
I've been twice, 21 and 22. I did the live stream commentary with Lauren. Yeah, fantastic event. The venue, the Face Club in Bucharest. And obviously, it's a Jake and Alina show, Wings of Strength show. So they have Tim Gardner and all his team of people there. So it is, in my mind, this is one of the best shows on the planet. It's incredible.
Nice, yeah. And we actually have 3 shows in a row following the Olympics. So this is kind of reminiscent of those old European Grand Prix tours.
Yeah,
we used to have back in the day. So Romania is this weekend. Then you're heading off to Prague, the EVLS Prague show in Czech Republic. Yeah. Weekend after that, and then last weekend of the month is the Japan Pro. So 3 weekends in a row where you can qualify for the 2024 Olympia and pick up some extra money. And let's start with a guy I am psyched that you just told me. Well, I saw it on the flyer. Samson Dauda, Arnold Classic champ and 3rd place Mr. Olympia finalist, already qualified, doesn't need to go there, but he's doing the business of a professional athlete, and he's making his way over Romania. And looking at the list, there's some big names there, but Samson, obviously the favorite. Nobody would even take a bet against him, I don't think, in this. Have you talked to Samson since the Olympia at all?
I've literally just messaged him about 30 minutes ago. I sent him a little message to congratulate him and stuff. And obviously, because he was getting thousands of messages, he just kind of liked the post. Normally, he responds always. But yeah, I messaged him this morning because I really wanted to do Prague as well. Because waking up to that news that he was doing Romania, I mean, really, it seems like kind of an obvious thing that he would do, given how many shows he used to do in the past. And also, and he's one of these people who's not afraid to travel. He's not afraid to compete. And I think, I mean, really, why wouldn't he do this show? Why wouldn't he do Romania when it's if you're top 3 at the Olympia, he pretty much has to just kind of coast in and scoop up another win. Because don't forget, he's only got 2 pro wins.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, Prague in 2021, and then the Arnold Classic in 2022. So I'm sure. I mean, why would he want somebody else to go and take that prize money? So I think this is a really smart move. I think he is the favorite to win, and I maybe love to see him a little bit sharper than he was at the Olympia, because when I was looking at the high resolution footage from Gilco coming through, I could see that the conditioning it was better, but it still has a little bit of a way to go. So I wouldn't mind seeing like a slightly tweaked version of Samson in this one. And it just sort of really sealed the deal that he is really he's Europe's #1 right now.
Yeah, and this is actually the first rematch he's having with the other UK bodybuilder over the battle for supremacy. Who is the best UK pro bodybuilder? Nathan De Asha, who has picked up 2 wins this season. He has now 11 or 12? 11, right?
Hang on. Yeah, 11, but many people feel it should be 12.
Yeah, but so he won the show in Italy. He beat Regan. I think Regan beat him in Spain. And then he went to France, was the last time we saw him. And then, of course, he was supposed to be in the Olympia. He headed over to Orlando, didn't make it through the airport, never got that far to actually step inside Orlando, and had to go home. And, he was sorely missed at the Olympia. He would have been a great addition to that stage. And I definitely would have been in the top 10 for those who don't think he would. But, it's a bummer he wasn't there. But I'm assuming he's going to hit all these shows. He certainly should, because he's just picking up titles, picking up paychecks. That's what a professional does. So did you talk to Nate? Have you talked to him since his first attempt to get into the US?
Yes, I have, because he's now doing Prague as well, which I was really happy about, because I said to him, come and do Prague a few weeks ago. And he says, no, I'm not doing it. He says, but I might come along with you on the same flight and come and watch the show. And I said, oh, great. Well, maybe I could grab you and do some live stream commentary and all that. So I sent him all the flight details. And then I kind of just left it, so I don't want to badger him, Yeah. But I think with going back to Romania, he's going to be a lot better conditioned than Samson.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to beat him, but that 2021 it was a different story, because Nathan was further ahead and Samson was obviously not as far ahead. But when Nathan was out injured, Samson's just gone this to this. I mean, you think? I mean, I know I hate using body weight again.
No,
but if you go from Prague November 2021 to November 2023 at the Olympia, he's gone from 270 to 300. on stage, and he's in better condition at the Olympia. So yeah, I do see Samson winning this, but I'll tell you what, Nathan's going to give him hell. I mean, I'm just trying to think if it's conceivable that Nathan could beat him. I don't know. I really don't know, because Nathan, you know me, I love conditioning, and Nathan will be more conditioned than Samson. But I think just Samson's just too far ahead right now, and it would be quite a dramatic storyline, say, if Nathan did beat Samson. But I think unless Samson does something really, really stupid, which I don't think he's going to do, I think he's got this one in the bag. But I do see Nathan and one other guy really, really pushing Samson.
Yeah, well, let's get to that other guy, because this is a guy who was unable to get a visa for the United States from Iran, unlike Hadi Choopan. We're talking about Behrouz Tabani Abargani. Behrouz was ready to go, shredded. Milos was pleading with everybody on Instagram and YouTube, please, somebody help get this guy a visa. Anything, any help would be appreciated. Just didn't materialize in time, unfortunately. He would have been great on that Olympia stage. He would have been. I still have yet to see this guy in person, and I guess I'm gonna have to wait a little longer. Behrouz, though, not massive in the terms of a 300-pound Samson, not quite as massive as Nathan, but the condition on him is a whole other level. It's insane how shredded and separated, dry, strided this guy gets. He's definitely, obviously, top three, but he's going to be pushing. He's going to be pushing both of these guys. I still see Samson third place in the world. I don't see anybody beating Samson, but Behrouz is going to bring the fight to him.
And he's the defending champion because he won in Romania last year. Yeah. I think Behrouz is one of those guys I think you have to see in the flesh to really appreciate how good he is. I mean, the night show at Romania last year, he won it hands down. I mean, him and Brett were close. Brett Wilkin were close at the prejudging, but then Behrouz, even before he walked on stage, I could see him as he was walking on by Billy, the MC. Yeah. I just went. If you watch the live stream, I was just going crazy, and he was just basically stood there, relaxed, waiting to walk on stage. You could see how much better. And I was messaging Milos, saying, "What did you do from prejudging tonight show?" And he says, "Nothing." He said, "We just did normal, chicken, blah blah blah, and all that." He says, "And we just rested up, and he just filled out for the night show, like most people do. The more they eat, the more that later on in the day, the better they get. And that's just like last year's Olympia. It's 1 a.m. But Behrouz, I think I think maybe people will underestimate how good this guy is. I mean, I'm not going to drop him in it. Well, I am dropping him in a minute. But I spoke to Nathan about Behrouz, and Nathan, I think he did actually use the word offended. That I said that Behrouz would be his main competition. This was a couple of weeks ago. Now I know, we love Nathan. He's full of bravado and all that. And he was like, what? He said, are you saying Behrouz could beat me? He says, I'll screenshot this and send it to you when Behrouz gets fourth and I win. Wow. And I just went, and I just thought, oh God, here we go. And I said, jolly good. The last message I sent to Nathan was, jolly good then.
Jolly good then.
Yeah, no, the thing is, I mean, sometimes, sometimes we need this kind of level of kind of hype and that because Nathan's in like that fierce, he's been dieting for so long. And I'll tell you one thing. So going back to Nathan, I think he's really, really going to be in even better condition than he was in these first two shows. But I tell you what, watch out for Behrouz, Nathan, because I'm telling you what, because I think I see the real kind of battle between Nathan and Behrouz. And I think maybe Nathan is maybe he's just bravado, but maybe he's secretly underestimating Behrouz, just how good this guy is. So and he's had another year to improve. So let's see what happens. I
don't think he may not be that familiar with him. Maybe he's never
possibly, yeah. No, I think Nathan what scrutinizes. He knows his stuff, Nathan. He's very but I tell you what, like I've seen Behrouz up close firsthand, and he's absolutely freaking awesome. I mean, that frontal bicep, the back shots. I wasn't as impressed when he won. Oh, sorry, hang on. He did Brazil, and he won Brazil, didn't he? That's how he got double qualification.
Yeah, and I want to clarify because some people were asking, Nathan couldn't get here, Behrouz couldn't get here, so do they just roll that over to the next year? No, they don't. They need to win a show between now and whenever the cutoff for next year's Olympia is to get qualified. So if they win, either one of them wins, whoever wins this show is qualified for the next Olympia 2024.
Yeah.
So assuming that's Samson, then Nathan and Behrouz are probably gonna have to head to Prague, which is great. Let them do
I mean, we've seen stranger things happen, but let's not. I'm not being a Samson hater here, but imagine just conceive that Samson gets second or third. I mean, personally, I really don't think that's going to happen. But we have to sort of give credit to, because I mean, someone like Nathan's got 11 pro wins. Behrouz is really, really good. I mean, personally, I think Samson's obviously got a lock on this. I mean, I'd be shocked unless he's been eating pies all week. But I think he's not going to completely blow Behrouz and Nathan off the stage. I'll put it that way.
Nope. And next guy didn't get a really good look at the Olympia, unfortunately. But Jose and I were talking. This guy's good. Andrea Presti from Italy. Structurally, he's so wide across the shoulders. Actually, we ran into him before he went to get tanned. He was with Mauro. What's Mauro's last name? Stasi. And you know how he has the hair slicked back? So he had it like it was just flying up in the air. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Jose said, "You're going to go on stage with your hair like that?" And that got a good laugh out of those guys. But he was in great condition. He does need more legs, though. The more I'm looking at him, I'm like, wow, if this guy had crazier quads, bigger quads with more sweep, he'd be deadly. He's still very, very good. I love his front lat spread, his side shots, double bicep. I wish he could get those legs going a little bit more, though.
I mean, any European show that Presti does, he's a front runner now. He has been for the last couple of years. You know, pretty much if Presti's name's on there, it's like, you know, Samson or Nathan in a European show. It's like, okay, well, that's pretty much he's the guaranteed winner. Yeah. To be honest, he's one of the competitors I haven't properly looked at because he didn't get to do his posing routine. I watched all the live stream. I stayed up both nights till 3 a.m. Yeah. But I just didn't get a proper look at him. I did see a couple of photos, and the first thing I thought about, because it felt like his legs had gone backwards a little bit, and because I know he had injuries. He had the hamstring, and he had the quad, the hip, was it hip or quad or something a couple of years ago, and then his legs started to improve. I mean, they're fine from the side and the back, but from the front, they definitely a bit straight up and down, which is for a tall guy like him with long limbs, I think he needs to really fill them out. But I'm just wondering, just a complete conspiracy theory here. I'm just wondering if maybe he's injured. I don't know, because I don't see why his legs would go backwards. Do you know what I mean? When he's made strides in them in the last couple of years since he's been injury free.
Yeah, I mean, because some guys, as soon as they get hurt, they'll post about it within 5 minutes. And they'll tell you everything's going on. Others, they think, well, I don't want to draw attention. I'm going to do my best to rehab it, get the size back, whatever. I don't want people to be focused on. That's the first thing when I walk out there. Oh, he hurt his leg. Let me look at let's see how that leg looks. Oh, he hurt his pec. They are going to pee up. People are looking to pick you apart the minute you walk out on stage. So it's probably a wise strategy if he was injured to keep it quiet because you're going to get that intense scrutiny.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't a lock for 4th place.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Looking at these names, although a couple more guys. So Horse MD, all you Brazilian fans out there, you know Marcelo De Angelis. He was a classic physique competitor for I don't know how long, not very long.
No, he turned pro as a super heavyweight.
Okay.
As an amateur in the muscle contest in 2021. And then I interviewed him on Global last year, and I said, like, look, even when you turn pro, I think he was around the limit for classic, or he had to lose like a few pounds or something, but he was very close. And I said to him, I said, honestly, I think Bumstead would be having sleepless nights if you turn classic. I mean, I thought he was that good. I mean, his frontal bicep, the lines, the shape. But clearly that idea went out the window, and he's decided to go open, and he's looking absolutely fantastic. I saw the guest posing the other week. His legs were nice and hard. His upper body looked good. Personally, I thought his lines looked better when he was classic. But that was obviously not meant to be. But I think I'm really curious to see what he looks like as well, because he's a huge name. I mean, he's not far out, because doesn't he drive Ramondino around, because Ramondino doesn't drive?
That's correct.
Do they live together or something? Or they live close by, and he does it. He's basically like Ramondino's babysitter.
He actually helped me out at the Arnold Classic meet and greet earlier in the season to translate for me, because he was at the stand there with Ramon, and I didn't recognize him because he'd gotten so much bigger.
Yeah, huge.
Because he had tried to do classic, I want to say in Brazil at a show summer of 2022, it was roughly.
Yeah,
and he was like 7 or 8 pounds over the limit, and they didn't let him compete. So I think that was probably the tipping point where he said, well, classics, and then they got more weight added recently, but that's beyond. He's way over whatever limit is supposed to be.
He's a monster.
He's got that classic shape, and he's got these Brazilians, man, they are killing it. There's some amazing physiques coming out of this country in the past few years. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there pushing Samson, Nathan, Behrouz, and Andrea.
He's not going to look out of place. I mean, I'd love to see him get like 5th, 6th. I'd love to see him in first call out and not get completely annihilated by like a Samson or a Nathan or a Behrouz, you know. But I mean, if he could get a 5th place, that would be a fantastic starting point in his open career. Do you know what I mean? And not go there and look like Bieki did at the last couple of shows, you know, like, you know, that kind of weight of expectation, you know, because thing is with these Brazilian athletes, I was saying to somebody yesterday, the Brazilian athletes are so well supported and they have such big fan bases. But I tell you what, the pressure on these Brazilian athletes is incredible. Mm. And, you know, it's like it balances out with the support they get from the sponsors and the fans. It's kind of it's equaled by the amount of pressure that's on these guys. So I bet he's really, really feeling the heat for this one. But if he gets like 5th, 6th, there should be no shame in that. And he should be happy for, you know, because he's still a young guy and this is the starting point for his Open Pro career. Yeah.
I mean, it's always exciting to see someone move up a division. And especially when you've watched their updates and you can see that they're going to fit in. They're not going to be out of place up there with these open guys. Because I have seen guys make their switch to open and they weren't really ready yet. They didn't quite have the mass they needed, but Marcelo.
I mean, I don't hope his sponsors are thinking he's going to come in and win this. I mean, because I remember when Brandeo made his pro debut at the San Marino, and he was first call out with Cedric, Hadi, Brandon, and then he ended up getting 8th place, and the sponsors weren't happy with that. And I thought this kid's 24 years old. You know, I couldn't believe it. And Patrick Tour was his coach. He brought him in beautiful. They dropped Patrick as his coach and got him with, I think it was a Cito. And I just thought, like, you know, you could tell there was dissatisfaction from that. And I was like, are you kidding? He's 24 years old and he's going up against Hadi, Cedric, Brandon, you know, guys, Tim Buddersheim, guys like this of this caliber. There was like 30 guys in the show. So I just hope that the expectation isn't that he's going to come in and storm this victory, because that's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, Miguel Chain, the premier journalist from Brazil. He was doing a hell of a job at the Olympia, by the way, running around doing interviews. He has the sponsors down there pay very, very well, much better in most cases than US-based supplement companies. So these guys are well taken care of. Their fans are rabidly loyal to them until, if they don't win, so they turn on you in a second. They will rip you to shreds if you don't win. So
I just like I said, I mean, if he could get like 5th, 6th, then, you know, the sponsors need to be really supportive of that, because this is the beginning of his career. This is a fresh new physique that we've never seen before. But like I said, the expectation on these Brazilian athletes must be huge. But then again, you know, their bank balances look okay. So tough. You got to take it. You got to take both sides of it. You know.
So a guy I went right past on the list of competitors until you said, Ron, you forgot about this guy, Mohammad Foda from Egypt. He said he's a Hani Rambod client, right?
Yeah.
Well, Hani's just picked up 3 more Olympia wins, guys. He has 25 Olympia wins to his credit as a coach, which is by far a record. You described him as sort of a slightly smaller version of Hadi Choopan, this guy. Yeah, tell me about him, because I have no idea what he even looks like.
I was following this guy. Remember I used to do that other show, that Muscle News Weekly for MD, years ago? Like, I was following this guy back in 2018 when he was an amateur. And I thought, okay, you know, if you squint a bit, you just think this guy just looks like an early Hadi, like when Hadi was amateur. You know, very similar kind of shape and style of physique. You know, you think, okay, maybe that's you could get to that level. He did the Egypt show. The what was it called? I forgot the name of it now.
Oh,
I forgot the name of it.
I know. It was in Egypt. I know that. It was a KOS Pro?
KOS squad, yeah. KOS squad in 2021. Yeah, and I think he got 5th place or 4th place there. 5th place. He was top 5.
Yeah.
And he looked good, and it was a good lineup, you know, really, really solid lineup. But what I've seen, I had him on Global this year in season 5, and I've just got a really good feeling about this guy. And I've been following his progress, and I posted some of the videos a few weeks ago. And I'm telling you what, I'm seeing huge improvements. The kind of improvements that I kind of not expected, but wanted to see from him. Yeah. So I knew that he was prepping for something, and I was really curious what he was prepping for. So when I saw his name on the list, I was like, right, okay, now we're talking. This guy's going to be a dark horse. I'll tell you that now. I think no one's going to see him coming, and I don't know whether he could beat like a Behrouz or a Nathan or even a Samson, but I think he's going to hold his own, and I think he's going to be first call out. And I wouldn't be shocked if he did take out one of those names. So watch out for Mohammad Foda from Egypt. He lives in Dubai now. Yeah. But he is awesome. He's morphed. And obviously working with Hani won't take on any chumps. Do you know what I mean? He's taking on good athletes that have got potential. Yeah. So you expect good things from this guy.
It's funny. Just a side note, I ran into Hani's beautiful wife, Farnaz Tarkoli, and their son, Cameron, who's about a foot taller than he was last year. And Yeah, we were just chatting for a couple minutes, and I said, it's funny. So many people in comments on the videos and social media posts, whenever some athlete does poorly or not as well as was expected, they said he should hire Hani, as if they think Hani's like looking to take on 100 clients. She just laughed. She laughed. She says, "This guy barely sleeps as it is. He doesn't want to work with. He's just very, very selective. He can work with anybody or nobody. He doesn't need coaching." You
can see that he does it for the passion, because he's got Evogen. I mean, I've worked at supplement companies, and they're hard work, they're long hours, lots of traveling, and he's very, very hands-on and involved. It's not like he's just stuck his name on the company. He is the heartbeat of that company. So the fact that he actually coaches anyone on top of that is an absolute miracle, and it shows you the passion he's got for it. And obviously the success record speaks for itself. 25 Olympia titles. He had 1 and 2 at the Olympia again with Derek and Hadi. He had Bumstead, Sidney Gillen. I mean, it's just mind blowing. Yeah.
So he's only taking on the best because he's very demanding. He doesn't want to invest his time in somebody that's not going to be 100% coachable and compliant with the plan and all that. So let's move on to 212. Looking at the list, I didn't recognize a lot of names, but one name immediately stuck out to me because he was 5th place this past weekend from Kuwait, Ahmad Ashkanani. So we're, Jose and I are analyzing the 212 lineup, and condition-wise and size, this guy he came in, I thought, in very good condition, bursting full. Upper body is so incredibly thick. Legs look great from the side, not so great from the front. Still got 5th place in the world at the Olympia. He's been 2nd place at the Olympia a couple times. He's an Arnold Classic. Actually, it was the very first show I covered in this job in 2017 was the Arnold Classic when Ahmad won. And
wow.
Peter, remember it was Peter, me, and Sean backstage.
Yeah.
Colombo and Peter had this fracas going on. It was quite a ostentatious beginning to my career. But Ahmad Ashkanani, aside from needing bigger quads from front and everything, he's my lock for this. The only other guy I see is Radoslav. We'll talk in a minute, but tell me about Ahmad, because you've been following. You've seen this guy for 6-7 years, just like I have.
Yeah, I'm amazed that he's still bringing it. I mean, he's really bringing it. I remember when I was at the 2017 Olympia, we were working with you, and he was 2nd to Flex Lewis in 2017. Yeah. Yep. 6 years later, he's coming out. And to be honest, I mean, I never liked his physique a couple of years ago, but I'm starting to really appreciate it now. When he came out on the live stream, and then he zoomed right in on him, it's like, this guy is like a literal tank. I mean, he's just so thickly muscled. And I think he has made improvements. I think his legs are a lot better than they used to. If you look at him 5-6 years ago, I just find it so impressive, the consistency of this guy. The fact that he can still hang in the top 5. I mean, if he'd have been higher, no one would have argued. Sure. But it's like, he's almost like a sure thing, that's he's gonna place top 5 in Olympia, or he's gonna be, he's gonna win any other 212 show, unless there's, somewhere like Kamal or whatever, any of the other names ahead of him. But he's bloody impressive. I mean, I don't know what age he is now, but he's still. I think he's not just holding what he had. I think he's actually improving. So and to me, he looks even bigger. And I think he was someone that always struggled to make 212. So I don't even know how he's done that. But hats off to him. Yeah,
the only reason I always say this: if someone's got exceptional clavicle width, which he does, very similar structure to Lunsford with the very wide clavicles. Not as narrow a waist, but that's when you need those quads to really fill it out. That's why when I'm looking at these guys, I'm looking to make it the ideal silhouette, basically.
Yeah.
But let's go on to Radoslav Angela from Bulgaria, I believe. Bulgaria. I hope I'm not getting the country wrong. Radoslav looked really good at the Olympia too. It was just a tough lineup. I believe, was he in first?
11th.
No, he was in the second call out. Yeah, but looking at this lineup here, unless there's some names there I'm not familiar with, but I think Radoslav would probably be the one to push Ahmad for this.
I remember when he turned pro in the UK back in June 2018. He was a middleweight, and then he won the overall, and he was clear winner. He looked absolutely fantastic. But for a couple of years, he really lacked in the leg department, calves, everything, the whole lower body. And in the last couple of years, he's really brought it up. So when his name's on the list for any 212 show, he's pretty much always a front runner. But it's funny because he went to Dubai and he got like 9th or something early in the year. Yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, he went to another show, a 212 show, and won it. So it just shows you how up and down sometimes these results can be. But he'll be harder and more separated than Ashkanani. But I think Ashkanani's just got a bit too much size. But Yeah, because I think Radislav always does this Romania show. I think he's been there in the last couple of years, and he's always top 3. So let's see what happens.
Yeah, I think Bulgaria is like a 2-hour drive away. So
yeah, there you go. Why not? Why not? And if you had a good experience, the thing is, if you're a competitor and you have a good experience at a show, why not go back and do it? Do you know what I mean? Why not do it again? You know, so and also show support for the promoters, because, like I said, Jake and Alina really go the extra mile for this show. It's incredible.
Yeah, you know, we both know that there are certain shows and promoters that athletes come back again and again and again, just because they love the way it's produced, the way the athletes are treated. So
Legion. I mean, it's just those promoters that really go the extra mile that sometimes maybe we don't even hear about unless you go to these events and then you speak to the competitors and you actually see the details and the fact that, you know, just these little things that sort of these extra touches that basically makes people feel welcome, audience, competitors, and makes them come back and tell all their friends, and, you know, and that's how the shows grow fast.
I believe that's why Terrence Ruffin did the Legion show. He didn't need to do that show. He just won the Dubai show a week before, but
there you go.
He knew it was a great show. Chris Minnis does a tremendous job promoting. Cool guy. I wish I could. Yeah, there's so many people I ran into at the Olympia, but I was like, they were going this way, I was going that way. It was just like a little fist bump and a smile. I'm like, I wish I could talk to him.
Well, you were busy, mate. You didn't have me there to support you, so you were having to double up.
Not only that, I was so slow with that stupid leg brace. I was limping, you know, hobbling everywhere. It was embarrassing.
Ron, if I'd have been there, I'd have kicked Nick Walker out of his wheelchair and I'd have moved you around, get you around even quicker.
They had those, had those scooter things you can stand up on, kind of like a Segway. But that's
a good idea. Yeah, that would have been like a little scooter. Yeah, a little scooter.
I didn't do it. I was like, no, I'm not gonna. No, I just can't bring myself to do that. I can't. So everything worked out fine. Okay, so final division we'll talk about is classic physique, because here we go, another big name. Wesley Vissers is on the list. It turns out he was 7th place, because I believe we only got top 5 placings on stage for all the divisions, so we had to wait till the next day or two to look at the score sheets. But Wesley looked fantastic at the Olympia. Fantastic. That was considering there were 20 less men in the lineup, 39 versus 59, I think it was every bit as competitive as last year, if not more so. But Wesley stood out. He was improved in shape, great color, great presentation. 7th place in that lineup was nothing to be ashamed of. But here he's going to Romania. I see him as a heavy favorite.
I thought he looked absolutely amazing at the Olympia. Him and Michael De Bull, who was 6th, and then Wesley that was 7th. I couldn't take my eyes off how impressive they were, because I just couldn't. Like, Michael De Bull's known for his condition, and you think you can't really get any harder than that or more separated. And then they take it to another level, and you're watching, you're thinking, how the hell did they manage? Like Bumstead last year from the year before, you think, how, with a height and weight limit, how are they managing to get even better? How is it achievable with the same body weight? And Wesley, I couldn't take my eyes off him. He looked absolutely phenomenal, because I remember I saw him when he turned pro in London, March 2018. Yeah. And I thought for the first couple of years, because we saw him at the Arnold Classic in 2019, and I just thought he's one of those big guys that's never really going to nail it. He's never going to have the muscle quality, the separation, the kind of the detail, and he's got it now. I mean, he's obviously worked his ass off. And I really, really respect the physique he's bringing. I mean, to me, I think I wouldn't have had an argument if he'd have been in the top 5. I thought he looked absolutely phenomenal, and I think he should just do like a Samson or a Nathan, just go and do tons of shows and just go win them, you know, and just rack up the wins and try and go for the most classic wins or something. Because I think right now in Europe, I'm trying to think if there's anyone better than Michael De Bull, but beat him. But I mean, those are the 2 top classic guys in Europe right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's for fans of bodybuilding, he's really so reminiscent of the classic era of bodybuilding with an updated look to the physique. He's over 240 pounds, I believe, on stage.
He's a monster.
He's a big guy, but he can hit the vacuum. He's got these monstrous Arnold Schwarzenegger arms, chest. Yeah, he was very impressive. I honestly thought he was gonna be top 5.
Yeah. No, I had no arguments. I think he'd be happy with 7th. But I mean, I'm looking at all the pictures and stuff, and he had almost like Chryso with the stripy shoulders and the nice deeply separated arms and the feathers, and you can see there's no sight injections or lumps or anything. It's all detail. I mean, the striations in his upper chest alone. He posts pictures sometimes, and I can't imagine what it's like to be training in the gym and he's all pumped and you can see all that. I just love that, because that's why I say to guys, don't do that, because if you ever get really shredded, I mean, imagine if Crizzo had stuck stuff in his triceps and his biceps and his shoulders, and when he did that readable bicep, that pose would have been completely gone. And the same with Wesley, like when he does a readable bicep, everything from top to toe, it's so detailed and separated, and it's just it's what I call real quality muscle. Yeah. So he's done, he's a smart guy, Wesley, and I think he's going to run away with this one. Fair
enough. And only other guy I saw on the list that I was familiar with is Germany's Alexander Westermeier, who's also very, very good. Mm-hmm. I should note, but before I forget, Urs is competing this weekend?
Yes, and he's doing Prague as well.
Wow. But so Urs already qualified for the Olympia, but he's doing the business of bodybuilding, as Sean Ray said, hitting all these shows. But I don't want to take away from Alexander. Alexander, really good, balance, structure. He's not the most massive guy. I still would want to see a little bit more fullness in certain areas, especially like the arms. But beautiful physique, and I think he's going to be, not out of place next to Wesley. Wesley's not going to make him, look like he doesn't belong or anything. But let's see how he does. But Wesley Vissers, come on, he's Wesley Vissers.
Well, Alexander won Pittsburgh last year.
Yep.
And then he beat Neil Curry, rest in peace, was third there.
Wow.
And then the New York Pro, Neil Curry ended up jumping over Alex, winning that.
That's right.
Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, she's great.
Is that his name?
No.
Cameron Diaz. The Brazilian guy that dropped down from Open.
Camilo.
Cameron Diaz. Yeah, she's not doing it. She's definitely not doing this.
No.
She didn't qualify. Camilo Diaz was second, and then Alexander was third at the New York Pro. But he's really, really good. I think he's had pretty good placings at the Olympia as well. Was he placed last year?
I actually have it in front of me. Last year, he did not place in top 10 last year. No.
Okay. But he's good. I mean, he'll obviously he'll be probably third. I'd imagine Urs first, Wesley second, and Alexander third. But tell you what, sorry.
No, Urs isn't in this show.
Oh, I thought you said.
No, he's going to Texas.
Sorry. Do you know what I saw? Actually, he said next up Texas, and then Prague. Yeah. So I'm really excited to see Urs actually next week. But anyway, Wesley first, Alexander second, and then a lot of the other names. It's like most of the classic lineups we go through, I don't recognize a single one of them because there's so much volume of athletes. Yeah. So I'm hoping to see some exciting new faces.
I'm sure.
And rather than just be like a 2-man race and then everybody else kind of down. So it makes it exciting. That's what I like about the classic. It's exciting because there's so many good new classic guys coming through. They can literally come out of nowhere, and theoretically someone could come in and beat someone like a Wesley or an Alexander. So that's what kind of makes it, I think, probably different from the Open and the 212, is because there's so many good guys literally even yet to compete that sometimes do, and they make an instant impact. So exciting.
Yeah, that's just, you reminded me of because we're talking about Texas, the Texas Pro that was back in August. Jae-hoon Park from Korea, goes by Jae-hoon. Comes out of nowhere. I know he was in the Olympia the year before, so I shouldn't say I never heard of him, but I think he was just outside the top 10, and he beat Logan Franklin and what's Rob's name? Robert Timms, who were the heavy favorites. That's who I was thinking that show. We did our preview, and that's who we were really focusing on, and this guy comes along and beats him. So
what about that French guy, Stéphane? The guy didn't do the Olympia because his mum got sick. I mean, that guy was literally just boom, came out of nowhere, and it's like, and he's winning pro shows.
Yeah, his name was on the list, but he wasn't there.
His mum got sick, apparently.
That's unfortunate.
They had to look after her, yeah, so he pulled out for that reason.
Yeah, I want to take another chance. I don't know if I did it yesterday. I want to thank Dan Solomon personally for the great seats that he gave to myself, Jose, and he gave us 4. So we had extra seats. Mike Cox was to my left, and his wife Mandy was to the left of him. So we had great seats. Thank you, Dan, and also for getting us out of there much earlier this year. Friday, both nights we were out by 10:30.
Wow, that's fantastic! Fantastic. I messaged Dan on what day is it now?
Hold on, Friday we were out before 10 on. It was like 9:40.
Wow,
I was like, wow, it's not even 10 o'clock. This is awesome.
That's good. I messaged Dan, I think yesterday, and I said, mate, because thing is, like, sometimes we take these people for granted. The people that, like, literally their whole life and world and their purpose and whatever they do, every day of the week is literally geared towards that one event, that one day, 2 days, sorry. 3 days. And I think people sometimes just sort of take it for granted. And, you know, so I always make sure that I always sort of show appreciation to people like Dan. I sit down and say, that's a seriously good Olympia, mate. You know, you just see the amount of passion and hard work that goes into that. And he always tries to divert it away. And so I said, no, I've got a good team. And I said to him, no, Matt, I said, you did a fantastic job there. And he responded, I think, within about 30 seconds. So, yeah, cool. Thank you, Dan.
One thing I would like to address before we leave, just because I don't think any of the people who need to hear this are going to hear it, because they probably don't watch Power Hour, and shame on you if you don't. But certain athletes, fans were giving death threats to other athletes who beat them. You know, we heard about Derek. Derek had his Instagram account shut down because a lot of the Hadi fans reported it as being, I don't know, what's community standard or something. They got it shut down.
What?
Yes, he lost his Instagram for like a whole day.
I heard, but I didn't know why. I was thinking, how could that be taken down? I don't understand. So what Hadi fans were, whoever fans or whatever, not mentioning names, were reporting his, that's pathetic. That is real. That's a dick move.
He got it back. And he was also, he had to go on Instagram Live. He was still doing cardio and say, you know, it's great to be a fan, but you can criticize me, he says, but when you cross the line and start talking about my family and threatening my family. You know, this guy's got a beautiful young wife and a baby. It's almost out. They're threatening them and they're threatening him. And I heard the head judge, Steve Weinberger, was getting death threats. And then I don't want to make it all about Hadi fans, because Whitney Jones, I just saw on Instagram, he was getting threats from, I guess, Missy Truscott fans who felt she disrespected Missy by having a toy shark in her routine that she threw down.
Come on.
You know, we were talking about this before we started recording. You know, sports fans can be, well, you know, you're in the UK, so you've had football hooligans for decades and decades. People that get very upset when their team loses and riot and beat people up and start fires and turn cars over. And, you know, it's that happens here in the US. That we have riots after games and stuff too. But this seems like it's at a much more personal level when you're messaging people saying, "I hope you die. I hope your kids die." You know, things like that is just awful and has no place in our sport.
Do you know what I think they should really do now? I think anonymity in social media accounts. I think that needs to, like, you know, with the whole Bluetooth tick thing, I think everyone shouldn't have to pay for it, whatever, but they should have to verify who they are and have some accountability so you can source who that person is. Because, I mean, I don't think I've ever actually had negative comments or been trolled by anyone that isn't a fake account, you know, that just use a fake name with no picture or maybe, you know, like 4 followers or something. So the people who actually have their own account and then they set up multiple accounts, you know, just to troll. It's like, I think that is such a weak, pathetic move, because guaranteed if those people saw Derek Lunsford, they'd be kissing his ass. They'd be nice as pie. They wouldn't say anything. They just look at they'd just look at the floor.
Yeah.
So I think that's. I mean, obviously it's a shame, but I mean, usually it dies down after a few days.
Yeah.
I must be. Think about it. You know, you've achieved your ultimate goal, like someone like Derek, and then he's getting all this shit, you know, on his phone. I think it's really bad. I felt really bad for him actually. Yeah. I like the statement he put out. I thought it was really classy, and I think he handled it really, really well.
Yeah, and you know, it's not that you shouldn't be threatening anybody, not a judge either, but the athletes
it's pathetic. They ain't gonna do shit. They ain't gonna do shit.
No, I know. I'm just saying that the athletes didn't choose their placing. The judges placed them there. So to blame the athlete for beating your favorite athlete, the guy or girl that you wanted to win, it's just silly. It wasn't up to that guy or girl who won.
Yeah,
so.
like just keep a bit of a control of your emotions, guys, and realize this is just people up on stage in their pants, you know, covered in bloody fake tan. You know, let's just get some perspective here. You know, it's not life or death. Do you know what I mean? Hadi can come back and try again next year, and he could maybe win it back. And you know, because we've seen now a lot with the Olympia. You know, people are getting beat. You know, like Sean Clarida got his title, lost his title to Derek Lunsford, won it back the next year, lost it again. It's like he'll probably go back next year and maybe win it again. You know what I mean? He might then go win it, you know, then maybe Keon will come back, maybe somebody else will come along. It's just like, guys, it's a subjective sport. Yeah. You know, and you know, the judges kind of do know better than us. Do you know what I mean? I mean, I disagree. I mean, I thought Hadi was going to win the Olympia, but I've got no problems whatsoever with Derek winning it. I thought he looked absolutely sensational. You know, if someone like, say, someone at the top 10, won it, then of course, then maybe there's something going on. But, not when it's this close and there's that many variables with judging a physique. Do you know what I mean? Because I tell you what, I've judged, and I'll tell you what, it's freaking hard. I'll never, ever, ever judge in bodybuilding. I'll never want to do it because it's bloody hard. It's pressure. And, and it's So
it's what they call a thankless task, because the only
that and show promotion I've done, and I'll tell you what, I was always surprised by how, that's why I say I always message people like Dan and stuff like that, because I tell you what, or sometimes all they get is the next day after they're completely exhausted after the show, they put their heart and soul into it, and then they just see all these negative comments. I've been on the receiving end of that, and I tell you what, it's quite upsetting actually. It makes you just think, why should I bother?
Right. I'm going to say something controversial about the Hadi Derek decision. I thought they were tied. I could not pick a winner after Friday night.
Wow.
They were both worthy of being Mr. Olympia 2023, but you can't have you can't have them share the title. One guy's got to get it. And, it's got to come down to like splitting hairs. It's got to come down to the tiniest little discrepancies that you can find, because what do you do when two guys are so evenly matched? And they were both, Hadi's got qualities to his physique that Derek doesn't have, and vice versa. It's
like last year.
Apple and orange. You can't have the apple and the orange win. You got to pick one. And
look at the days of Phil and Kai. Would anyone have rioted if Kai had won one of those? Probably not. Ronnie and Jay, the year that, 2005, if Jay had won, would have been really shocked? Maybe a few, but, so these, when you get to this level, the differences between the athletes are a lot less. Do you know what I mean? Like say we could say, right, okay, then Behrouz, Nathan, and Samson is the clear top three, and everyone else is fighting for fourth. That could be a fair statement. But at the Olympia, difference between first and second, it's not as clear cut. So, like Derek, he looked so much, to me, he looked harder and more detailed and fantastic, sensational from the back. Hadi had him on some other angles and poses and stuff. Yeah, completely. But I've got no arguments with Jen. No arguments with either winning.
Yeah, I mean, I said after Friday night, there's going to be a lot of butthurt people tomorrow night, because if Hadi wins, a lot of people are going to say Derek should have won, and vice versa. And sure enough, but I knew that was when two guys are that good and they both have millions of fans supporting them and believing that they are the superior bodybuilder, you're going to have a lot of very deeply disturbed people after the show, regardless of who wins. And that's just the way it is.
Remember how Hadi's shoulders looked at the 2021 Olympia pre-judging? Like, I pointed that out a few times on social media, and the amount of messages I got from his fans, and I'm like, okay, first of all, you're trying to tell me that he's perfect and you can't see that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's what I do to critique these people so they can be better. It's like Hadi's non-posing routine. I think that was a really, really stupid thing to do, because I feel like he really left the door open, for somebody else to exploit. So Derek and Samson came with fantastic routines, and if it is like literally, if it was like a complete tie, what do you think is going to happen when someone does a routine that, Hadi didn't even do any back shots in his posing routine. So then someone like Samson and Derek come out and do something sensational and creative and artistic and powerful, and really exciting. So what do you think the judges are going to do if they really got like oh shit, this is a draw, guys, between Derek and Hadi, what do we do? You make it very, very easy for those judges then to make a decision in favor of that other guy.
Yeah. And like you said, you've judged, I've judged, you've done it more than me, but it is at that level. I've never judged at that level. I can't imagine the pressure, the anxiety, because you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders if you're judging two guys who both have millions of fans, and they're both worthy of winning, but you can't let them both win. Somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose. And unfortunately, for one of the guys and all his fans, it's not going to go their way. But you know what? That's exciting. I'm actually much happier to see the Olympia now the way it is, where titles change hands all the time. We've had different champions almost every year, and it's close calls between two guys. I remember the Lee Haney years, the Dorian years, the Ronnie years, where as soon as they walked out, it was game over. It's like, all right, let's see who's fighting for second, third, fourth, and fifth. And that was great, because it was an awesome sight to behold. Ronnie, Dorian, at their best, they were just these specimens, but it wasn't that exciting because you already knew who was going to win.
I've got a question for you. Probably going to put you in some trouble here.
Uh-oh.
If the new judge, the way they judge the Olympias now was like it was 20, 30 years ago, how do you think any of those Olympias would have gone differently? Apart from 2007, because we know Victor deserved that one. Come on.
Oh, I mean, I think the right man would have won in other years. I mean, we can go way back before I even started following the sport, but I saw. I'm not going to speak ill of the dead, but we're just talking about physiques. This is not the person.
Yeah.
I have two crates that were donated to me by someone of very old magazines going back to the late 60s. And there was one it was an old Muscle Mag International from the 1981 Olympia that Franco Colombo won.
Yeah.
And it was like a 20-page photo spread. Beautiful.
Padilla or Platts?
Either one of them would have been a much better.
Roy Callender.
Or Calendar. Colombo, I would have had Franco the winner in 4th or 5th that year. He was awful.
Yeah.
His legs were awful. His condition was just awful. It was Dino. There was no question that that guy's not the winner. There's no way. And yet he won. So, and then
Arnold in 1980.
Yeah, you look at Arnold in 1980. That was a much downsized version of Arnold. He was beat fair and square by, I think.
He still looked good, and I don't think anybody else had the knockout punch. It was like when I saw Ronnie in 2002. I was there at the Olympia. I had my press passes backstage. Now, Ronnie, that was the year they downsized him to bring the stomach in, but he kind of came in smaller, but still had the stomach. And obviously allowed Gunter to beat him at the GMC show of strength. But I tell you what, Kevin didn't bring his A game in second. Dexter didn't bring his A game. Cormier was like smooth. So that was the year, and that was the year that Jay sat it out because he thought, okay, well, I'm just going to go do the Arnold. I'm moving to Vegas. So that was the year probably if Jay brought what he brought the year before, he would have won. That's why I would say to these guys, never sit out the Olympias. Do them. Do you know what I mean? Because you never know what's going to happen. You know that we spoke about this before, but so sometimes it's. I'm trying to think. 2007. I mean, Mike Cox will say that Sean Ray he was there at the '94 Olympia. He said that Sean Ray deserved that one over Dorian because that was the year Dorian obviously ripped a bicep and his tan and went a bit weird and his condition wasn't quite as good. But some Milos would say Nasser in '97 over Dorian. I disagree because I think Nasser's back was not dominant enough. I mean, from the front of the side, incredible. But
I'll give you one I think you'll agree with. 1990 Olympia Chicago, the year that they drug tested the Mr. Olympia. The one year that they did drug testing, Lee Haney, the reigning champion, comes in significantly softer looking, downsized. Lee Labrada. So let's just assume everyone really was drug free, even though they busted a bunch of people got disqualified, but those two did not. Lee Labrada, a foot shorter, 60 pounds lighter. He was in great condition. He didn't look that different. So, because I don't think Lee ever ran a whole lot of gear, to be honest with you.
I tell you who also could have beat Lee Haney that year was Sean Ray in third and even Mike Christine in fourth.
Yeah.
Because they both brought fantastic conditioning. So that was the first Olympia I ever followed. I was 14 years old. That was the first one. I've been following the sport since the April of 1990. And that was my first ever Olympia. And that was, and I remember I had all the pictures up on my wall from Flex magazine and stuff, and Lee Labrada really, really brought it.
Yeah. So, Olympia judging, when people complain about this judging, it's all politics, it's bullshit, it's from this country, that religion. I'm like, no. You don't know what the Olympia judging used to be like. It is 100% more fair and impartial now than it was back in the day. It was shady as F. Shady. I'll say it. It was horrible.
But can you imagine with bodybuilding being a subjective sport, and I mean, like we all love doing the previews. We do we've done it now. We just done a prediction for Romania. This is what we think is going to happen. Yeah. We're never going to get it 100% bang on. It's like, imagine if everyone just agreed. Had Derek winning, Hadi second. It's like, imagine that. I mean, that's part of the drama. I think it's part of the appeal. I mean, when it goes to the lengths that's gone through with Derek and they're getting personal and they're sending threats and all this nonsense. I mean, that is too much. But, I kind of like the spec, the sort of disagreements. And it's just when people get personal and take it too far and they completely lose their minds. It's like, come on, guys, sort your shit out.
Yeah, I mean, opinions are great and you guys can debate and discuss. Yeah, just part of it. It's just a line you don't cross as far as like personal attacks and attacking people's families. But yeah, I'm all for that. Passionate discourse.
Bodybuilding's not like watching Usain Bolt run the 100 meters and it's like, okay, he's first, he's second, he's third. It's like, it's different. It's a subjective sport. So and the thing is, So these people that are saying, so and so should have won. It's like, wow, you should be a judge then. If you're really that knowledgeable, you should go and judge.
Yeah.
I say to people, throw it. That's sometimes the best thing to say to them. It's like, well, if you're so knowledgeable, go and be a judge. Go make the difference. Go put the people where you believe they are. If you think you're that right, then put your money where your mouth is and actually or put out a prediction video beforehand and tell us exactly how you think it's going to go. Because you and me will have a pretty good success rate with our predictions. But, if it ever got to 100%, of our predictions being bang on right, then I think the sport's in a pretty dull place.
I agree.
It would be anyway.
It's not the most exciting sport. Let's be real. It's men and women up on stage in little suits, oiled up, flexing and turning around. That's really about it. So,
Ron, I love surprises. I love being proved wrong. I love it when... Like I had Milos on the other week on Global, and he says, "Oh, Giles, I've just read your I've just read your Samson article." He says, and he says it's funny, he says, because you kind of said, I'm not a Samson hater, but it's not that you didn't think that he would be successful. You just said you specified that you didn't think he would be as good as he was so quickly.
Yeah,
and it was just because I think I love seeing surprises. I mean, imagine seeing Nathan or Behrouz say beat Samson this weekend. I mean, that would be like, everyone would be like messaging, "Oh my God, did you see what happened?" Sean Roden. I mean, my God, the reaction of when Sean Roden won the 2018 Olympia. I mean, there was 5, 6, 7,000 people just jumped to their feet and it was complete chaos. It was brilliant. I mean, and that's nothing against Phil because I'm a huge Phil fan, but it was just like the shock. This my God, this guy was 5th place last year. No one saw him coming, and then boom, he wins the show. It's just it was so unexpected. It's just, I mean, like Ramy in 2020. I kind of given up on him. I thought this guy's never going to get his shit together, and then look what happened. So I think surprises make the sport. Like even just knowing that Samson's doing the show this weekend. I woke up this morning, put my phone on, and I was like, whoa, my God, it was so exciting, so exciting.
I'm sure Jake and Alina and Tim Gardner are over the moon that Samson's doing this. I would be like, thank you. Because more big men.
I know that it's vulgar to talk about money, but have you actually thought to add up about all the money that Samson's made in the last year or so?
No, I mean $300 for the Arnold. What did he get at the Olympia? 3rd place
100.
Was 100. So okay. And what is this, a $10,000 show or more? Do you know?
I don't know. Maybe more. I don't know. But I mean, I won't say. But I've heard what his contract, because they put it out that he's the highest paid athlete with Hostile, and I do know. And then he gets obviously the 5% discount code as well, and all the perks and benefits and all these other contracts and stuff. So I mean, I'm over the moon for him, because a couple of years ago this guy lost his job and living in this small flat with his dog and Marlena, and all he had was this dream and this kind of this hunger and this drive. And just look what anyone who's got a soul could not be happy for Samson. Do you know what I mean? So mate, go and do as many shows as you want. Do as scoop up that prize money, because mate, he could get injured or something could happen, or he could just these careers they're finite. They're not going to last forever. So go and make as much money as you can. And invest it as well. Don't go spend it on daft cars, and which you wouldn't. Because you've seen all the guys in California and stuff. They all the flash cars, and then a few years later they're broke, and you just think. But Samson and Marlena, they seem really, really smart. They are. I don't seem. They are smart. They're very. They know exactly what they're doing. So go get that prize money, mate.
Yep. So I'm going to wrap it up here because we're approaching the hour mark. So those of you who want some information on the show, go to WOS-RomaniaMuscleFest.com, because that's for short for Wings of Strength. WOS-RomaniaMuscleFest.com. The show is happening this Sunday. The pro component of the show, they have amateur components, is going to be 9 a.m. judging. That's Romania time. And 4 p.m. finals Romania time. So adjust accordingly to wherever you are in this wide world of sports. And that's it, man. Giles, thank you. Thank you for the expert commentary. Thanks for having me on Global Muscle. I believe that will air before this. So go back and check out Global Muscle. He had me give my Olympia report, and who else is on this particular episode?
It was just you, mate, and Hot News. Myself and Laura did a Hot News, and because I thought we need to do a complete breakdown, and I want to do a proper job of this. So I'm trying to get people or athletes on the Sunday when they're either traveling back or they're out having a day off. It was impossible, so I thought, okay, we'll just make this a complete, because that's all people want to know about is the Olympia. So I thought, who better than you and me,
Geez, I had no idea, Giles. Well, I'm flattered that I'm the only guest. My goodness. Okay. Make sure you use a good picture for the graphic. Okay. So Use one where I had more hair. So that'll do, guys.
2018.
I did have more hair in 2018. Very true.
2017, I was all tanned and sexy, but I'm not going to use that one because that doesn't even look like me anymore.
Yeah, that was a dapper version of you for sure. So that's it, guys. Check that out. Of course, subscribe to the channel. If you like these videos, hit the like, that thumbs up thing. Share them on your social media platforms. Turn your notifications on your YouTube settings and on your phone settings so you know when we have all kinds of great material. We have so many great videos up right now from the Olympia weekend and recaps done with Lauren Lauder of the women's division for Buff Bombshell, MD Global, Ask Dr. T. So much great stuff on this channel. Please check it out. And of course, we appreciate you watching MD Power Hour with Giles Tiger Thomas and myself. And we'll see you right here next time. Thanks for watching. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.